Hiya guys, this is 3D Printing 101, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the basic aspects of 3D modelling and how you can start making your own designs for 3D printing. You've probably seen the masses of models you can download online and wondered how you could possibly make your own models to that standard. Well, hopefully in this short tutorial video I should give you an insight in what goes into these models and how you can start making your own. You ready? Well, let's jump into it. So I was originally planning to make this video on Fusion 360, which is what I typically use for my designs. But Fusion 360 seemed pretty inaccessible to me. You can get a free 1-year trial, but then it's only a year, so it's not sustainable if you're planning on making things long term. And then if you do want to buy it, there's the ridiculous price, which is slightly too high in my opinion. In fact, the only reason I've got it is because my school allowed it for educational access. But luckily, Autodesk, the company that made Fusion, created Tinkercad, which is a more basic 3D software, but if you're just getting started with 3D modelling, it's a great place to start. It's really intuitive and user-friendly. I only started learning it 10 minutes before the video started, so if that's not proof, I don't know what is. These three things are essential in the 3D environment, and when you know them well enough, it allows you to fluently make models, or at least be able to experiment and know where you're going roughly. Without further ado, we'll get to work on the interface overview. Hang on a minute. Can I just say how deeply pleased I am that explanation landed on the drop? That has made my day. Anyway, satisfaction aside. So when you've created your Tinkercad account, you should get a screen that looks something like this. You'll have the viewport in the middle, which is where you can see the work plane and all the models you build on top of it, and the surrounding UI, which you can find around most of the edges. The right UI element gives you a list of all the models you can import into your work plane. The section we're in at the moment, and the one you get shown when you first load in, is the basic shapes category. This section gives you a selection of commonly used shapes like spheres or boxes, should you need them. Don't worry about trying to use this menu yet though, we'll get onto that after we've done the camera controls. If you look to the top left, you'll see this section. This area is just for copying and pasting and other options like that. So you'll probably be familiar with these settings if you've used a computer before, which I'm guessing you probably have. If you haven't, I'd probably recommend learning how to use them first. Lastly, these settings in the top right. It's probably better off for me to explain these while we're working with the models. It's probably easier to show what these settings do to you rather than try to explain them. The names might seem pretty scary, but it'll all make sense when you see them at work. And now, it's navigation time. You can manipulate the position of the work plane with the basic camera controls, the controls of which are fairly similar to other 3D softwares. You can right click to orbit around the scene. If you want to pan, use middle click, and using the scroll wheel will zoom you in and out. If you're on a laptop, you can use the view cube over here, which basically is the same as orbiting around. Buttons like home view will set you to the centre of your work plane, and these are some other handy controls like fit in view, a zoom in and out button if you can't remember the hotkey, and an orthographic view, which takes all perspective from the image. Great, so you've seen how Tinkercad works. Now, let's see if you can use it. All variations of 3D modelling software work like a 3D canvas. A canvas where, in Tinkercad's case, you can drag in basic geometries to form an object. To add images to your work plane, simply head to the shape menu and drag the shape in you want. I've chosen this box. If you want to move your shape around, you can just click and drag it again and move it to where you want. Once you've dragged in your shape, you can also change its scale and rotation values. If you've ever used anything like Publisher before, the method for scaling and rotating objects is similar. You can just pull on the squares at the side of the cube and extend it along. Rotate by holding the arrows, and you can rotate in each axis. I'll demonstrate this with another object. Here with this roof shape, you can move it up and down, scale it like so, and rotate just like the cube. Text also works in a similar way. Just when you drag it in, a menu will pop up, but when you drag in the text, a menu will pop up where you can change what the text says. If you want, you can merge two shapes together in order to make a more complex shape. The way you do this is you get the two objects intersecting each other, like I've done here, just dragging the shapes into each other as I showed you before. And now, if you select these two objects, you'll see that this setting reveals itself, and it's called Group. If you click on it, these shapes now become their own body, meaning when you print them, it won't be messy and you can print a shape properly. This might not make sense, but I'll show you an application where you might want this. Let's say we're making a house. Then you can drag on a roof shape. You can move it up, position it. Then selecting them both, you can merge them together and you have one shape. It's important that wherever you have intersecting bodies in a 3D print, you need to merge them. Otherwise it could cause complications when you come to print your model. Bearing what I've shown you in mind, I want to see if you can put your skills to the test. See if you can make a rectangular nameplate with some text on it. It can be whatever you want, or if you feel confident with what I've shown you, you could even go more advanced. Just make sure you merge it all as I said. Pause the video now, and we'll reconvene and I'll show you what I've done. Done yet? Here's what I got. I just put a rectangle on and made a frame around it with 3D printing 101 in the middle. I'm just clearly gifted with creativity, I know. I made the frame just by making 4 different sized cuboids around the main shape by doing a box select and then clicking group up here. Also, just a quick tip if you're stuck. If you hold over this button, this is ungroup, so you'll ungroup all the original bodies. Say if you wanted to change the text, you could ungroup and now you can do that. So I'll just change to a dog, for example. Another great display of my incredible creativity. So well done. All you've got left to do now is congratulate yourself. You've made your first 3D model, which you can export from Tinkercad and send to your Slicer program. If you're a beginner 3D modeler, I hope you found this tutorial useful and you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd be grateful if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can get this channel up to more 3D printing beginners. Also, keep playing around in Tinkercad. Remember, the best way to learn is to experiment. It's better knowing something won't work than not doing anything at all. So just try lots of different things. Maybe even look in some of the other shape panels. Trying something and it not working is way better than doing nothing at all. So if you keep looking through the different sections and different options of what you can do, you'll improve in no time. And on that note, I won't keep you here any longer. Bye!